Hi and welcome to another episode. Today we're doing a scientific experiment. You can tell that because I've got a clipboard and a pen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this English breakfast blend, premium blend, and I'm going to put it in this teacup here. Right, and what I'm doing here is I was reading a blog the other day by my friend Ken in Germany, and he was talking about how the differing types of cup affect how soon you can drink your tea and how long it will last. So what I've done is I've set up 5 cups and mugs here, all differing styles, with a view to finding out what actually works. Now this is based on drinking black tea. It's based on being fairly warm here in Australia. It's not really hot today, but it's certainly warm. What we're going to do is we're going to track the temperature of the tea every 30 seconds. Sorry, I'm putting them in 30 seconds apart, and we'll be measuring them 30 seconds apart. And what we'll be doing is finding out how long the tea lasts at a sort of optimal drinking temperature for each mug. Now what we have here is a beautiful delicate bone china mug made in Japan in the 60s. We have here a delightful English bone china mug which is sort of thicker set, and that is from the 50s. We have a mug, the sort of mug that you get in offices all around the world. We have the thing I use the most, this thing that looks like a bucket with a handle on it. It just allows me to have enormous quantities of tea, which is of course very much what I have an interest in, drinking lots of it. And the last one is this bell-shaped mug. I'm firmly convinced that this holds a lot of heat, so we're going to find that out. Just balancing that there because it doesn't really fit in that one. So by doing them apart we can keep moving the thermometer and recording the temperatures, and also work out what the sort of optimal temperature is for the drinking of tea. Just enough there. Right, so first thing I'm going to do is say that at this moment, which I guess is 2.5 minutes after I poured it, this tea here is at a 59 degrees, which I think is a little lighter than I would have expected. And I'm going to keep going round and testing these teas, and I think that so that's gone up. So definitely this is hotter, even though that same time frame has elapsed. So I think that I'll keep doing this, and I think that'll be fairly boring, so I'll just check in with you every so often and let you know how it's getting on. Alright, so after 2.5 minutes in the cup and measuring them all, what I found was that the small cup, which is very shallow, had a temperature of 59 degrees. And all the others were sort of 68, 69, so they've basically held their temperature. I think this one's dropped off a little bit. Now it's now time for another reading on that, and that is now at the 3.5 minute mark, and that is now dropped to 51 degrees. So that's still dropping, and we'll see how the others go, and I'll get back to you. Right, I'm just sipping this one at random. That's quite drinkable, and that was measured not that long ago at 66 degrees. So obviously, you know, that's the sort of temperature you can drink it in. And now at the point where everything has had 4.5 minutes, or will have by the time I do this rotation. So over 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, the flat cup has gone back from 59 to 51 to 50. These are obviously degrees centigrade. I hadn't picked that up by now. The little one here is really holding its own. It started on 69, which is the same as all the others, and it's holding at about 62. The mug, now this is obviously, I think this is a key one because that's what a lot of people drink in their offices every day, and that's sitting on about, we've got about 5 seconds to go. It's sitting on 62 as well, so I'm actually getting the same result for these two cups, which is a little freaky, I think. Interestingly enough, these two bigger ones are pottery rather than the sort of china that these are, so I'm wondering if that makes a bit of a difference as well. Doesn't really appear to in terms of temperatures. These four here really are sort of holding their own, and just the very delicate one with all the filigree seems to be letting the side down a bit. And my theory about the bell-shaped cup isn't really holding up so far. So what I'm going to do now is take a break, and I'm actually going to come back after 10 minutes and we'll actually see what's happened. You've put your coffee down, you've wandered off, had a chat to someone, come back, are you drinking cold coffee? So at the point when these have been sitting in there for exactly 10 minutes each, I'll be back. Alright, according to Mrs. Devotea's desk clock, we're at the 11-minute mark. Now, I actually took a reading at the 8-minute mark of all of them, and what I found was that this little cup here really dropped away. It was at 40 then, it's actually at 35 now. Now that is probably way too cold to drink. Little taste. What I tend to do when my tea gets to that temperature is drain it and whinge about how cold it was. So that's out of there. That cup is never going to last you that time. Surprisingly, this cup is still on 51. Now at 51, it's drinkably hot. And it's fine. I mean, I like it a little hotter, but no one will complain about that. And most people would probably preferable because I do drink it pretty hot. As I go around and move around in 30-second increments, I'm really finding that the none of these other mugs are really differing. You know, I've got a 51, 52, got a 50, no, that's 55 now, so maybe that is we are just starting to see the bigger mugs, the pottery mugs, holding their own a bit. And my bell-shaped theory is actually not looking too good because this one, the big cup, is just starting to stay a little hotter than the other three that are still in contention. So let's come back after a little bit more time and see how it goes. Right, we're back at the 20-minute mark. Now, just a couple of quick notes. The ambient temperature here today is 22 degrees Celsius. So that's obviously going to have an effect. Now, the temperature that these teas started at by the time they hit the cups, the higher ones were 68, that's what, 160 odd Fahrenheit. 50 is about 122, so that's about where I think you sort of don't really want to drink it that much anymore. Anyway, it must be said that at the 20-minute mark, our little one here has just dropped below 50. Let's give it a try. I drink that without complaining, knowing of course it was my own fault, but I really do like it hotter. That's up to 48. The great thing about cappuccino thermometers is they're very responsive, very fast. Perfect for this experiment. Our ordinary office mug has done about the same as the little china cup. It's actually on 49, so I'm imagining that's again, yeah, drinkable, but not as warm as you'd like. The big mug, it's about 52 degrees, so it's 3 or 4 degrees better. I think those degrees make a difference. They actually do it much more pleasant to drink, just that few degrees hotter. And the bell-shaped one has dropped back to about the same as these ones, 48. So I think that what we have proven here is that the little thin, wide-brimmed teacup that doesn't hold much does cool fairly quickly, but after that There's surprisingly little difference, and I think the benefit of this one is simply the sheer volume of tea. It holds at least 50% more of any of the other cups, and that seems to be inimical to it holding its temperature. So there we have it. I'm going to drink a little bit more English breakfast tea. I'm going to go about my business, but I hope this answers a few questions that were posted on a blog I enjoyed reading a few days ago. So, cheers.